Greetings, humanoids of the internets! My name is Bob, and we're going to have a little mini-series. The mini-series is based on this premise. Now, after World War II, Great Britain was pretty much financially ruined. They had food rationing, I think, into the 50s, I believe. I haven't checked that for sure, but anyway, they were in bad shape, and so they didn't really participate in a space race too much to any extent between the Russians and the Americans. This little mini series is based on the premise that they said, "The heck with it, we're gonna try to go to the moon." And so, I'm also starting with the assumption that the only booster they had was an equivalent to the Russian R7, the one that launched Sputnik, the one that launched Vostok, and the early R7 could only lift 1.327 metric tons to orbit, and this little thing here is 1.326 metric tons. And so I'm going to assemble a moon launch scenario that involves only using parts that are 1.327 metric tons or less. So basically, we're going to be assembling a moon program in orbit. Now, this little part here, the purpose of this is to have RCS so that it can put the different parts of the moon rocket together in orbit, because the other parts won't have RCS or RCS fuel at all because of the weight restrictions. So this unit is just to be able to navigate to dock with the other components of the moon rocket that will be assembled in space. And the moon rocket will only be able to launch up in parts that are 1.327 metric tons in weight or less. That means the moon lander, unless I make it out of multiple parts, will have to be 1.327 metric tons or less. So that should be interesting. Obviously, there's going to be parts of this that are going to be different from a hypothetical 1960-ish, early 1960s, like a British attempt to go to the moon. For one thing, solar panels weren't really a thing back then. Also, the amount of thrust delta V that you need to get into orbit from Kerbin is a lot less than what you have to use to get up to orbit on Earth. But we're still working with the 1.327 mass limit. So whatever we do, we can only launch in chunks that are 1.327 tons or less. So in that sense, it shouldn't really matter. And even though this rocket is going to be much smaller than the R7, it's still based on the idea that they would have had access to basically an equivalent of the R7 rocket. Okay, here's the my British equivalent of the R7 rocket for our British moonshot. So let's see if this thing gets to orbit. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're heading up on side booster separation. Go and throttle up. And side booster separation. Go and see if we can get it carefully tilted over. Carefully, because it's not going to recover if it spins out. Whoa, why are you going off track, buddy? Let's see what we're doing. Okay. All systems appear nominal. Okay, we're heading up for our circularization burn. It'll be kind of close. Okay, this looks like this is almost a perfect replica of R7. I do have a little fuel over, so left over. I'm not going to be able to use that because that's not part of what I'm allowed to do. So that's just that little bit of fuel left over is just going to go to waste because that's not part shouldn't have been part of the payload. So. Okay, so we have our British version of the R7, our hypothetical British version of the R7, and now we need to assemble a moon spacecraft composed of parts that only weigh at most 1.327 tons. Okay, this is the crew capsule that our brave astronaut will spend his trip to the moon in. Make sure it's 1.326, just under. I'm not going to go to the trouble of doing the rendezvous and shit with each one of these parts. I'm just going to assume that I could, if I tried hard enough, I could get them close enough together where the RCS core could hook them up. So I'm going to basically just speed through to the point where they actually rendezvous, because I'm sure I could do it. I could do the whole launching each piece individually and so forth, and making sure that they're close enough to do a rendezvous and all that. If I wanted to spend the time and trouble to do it, but I don't. So I'm going to just sort of speed ahead to the point where they actually do the rendezvous. And as I mentioned, this thing's not, because of the weight restrictions, this thing's not going to have RCS or anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and move over to, over to here, and it will do the rendezvous. I can find where the damn thing is. Right there. Okay, we're coming in. Oh, come on. All right. All right. So we got our, and that is docked at the wrong end, isn't it? It sure is. Okay, let me turn it around. Okay, I got it docked on the right end now. Let's go ahead and warp up a little bit so I can see what it looks like. All right, I'll get those two parts together. Okay, here's our booster stage. It will take the moon rocket assembly to the moon, and it fits within our weight budget because it's mostly empty. That's all empty. That's all empty. That's mostly empty. That's all empty. So I will actually have to do multiple launches to actually fill this thing up. But this is within our weight limit, so let's get it up there. Actually, I had to make a changes because putting it on a short-range antenna, which I forgot to do, busted our weight limit. So I had to take this toroidal tank off. So anyway, I could leave it on if I take that off. I take all the fuel out of here, and take all the fuel out of here, and put this back on. Oh yeah, we actually put some fuel back. Uh, 1.205, 1.235. .325. That is just 0.002 short of our limit of 1.327. So we're good. All right, we're gonna leave that on. Okay, because this is unbalanced, it's going to be kind of interesting to get it to dock, but we shall do what we can. That's a moon booster rocket. I don't care about that. Where's my? Oh no, that's right. That's right. That's the right thing. Okay. I thought I have a spare booster just hanging around up here, and so I thought for a second that might be it. Come on. How about you give me a indicator of your okay, we're getting up set up for docking. And yep, oh, there we go. Turn off RCS. Okay, and then we need to load up some fuel, and then we will get the lander up. Okay, this is the amount of fuel I could lift up in one launch. That's 1.275 tons. I would require 4 of these in order to actually fully refuel or fully fill up the Mars module. Needless to say, I'm going to shortcut on that, but it would take four launches of this size of fuel container to actually fill up the main fuel tank of the moon rocket. So, but I'm actually just going to refuel it. Okay, we have fueled up the moon rocket with 4 launches. No, not really. I've sent up 1 rocket and fueled it all at once. But in theory, it would take four launches of the same 1.3 metric tons payload mass. And here is the moon lander. Whether it will actually get to the moon and back is somewhat a mystery. As you can see, it's got a command chair, a little mini SAS unit, a little probe core, some power generation, and some landers, and some tiny little engines. And with the legs extracted, it looks it would land like that. Let's unextract them. And yeah, there it is. And it weighs 1.297 metric tons, which is within our limit, which is 1.327 metric tons. So we're good. Let's get it up there. Alright, I'm docking it up. This thing is absolutely tiny compared to... Alright, let's... Okay... And having RCS units right there at the front, not really the best of all possible worlds. I could move this around and stick that in the middle, but I actually want to get rid of it after we get to the moon. Huh. So all I really need to do is get this sumbitch docked up, and then I can pretty much ignore the RCS from then on. Come on. I should have put RCS ports here, but whatever. I'll switch over here, make sure my behind is pointing in the right direction. Let me turn the SAS off. How about we nudge our spacecraft? Yeah. Come on. Alright, well, we're bouncing. This may take a while. Okay, after a bit of excruciating negotiations, I managed to get this to work. I might want to go ahead and move this in the middle. I'm not sure how that's going to work out exactly, but I can check it out. I can hit F5. Okay, it's possible I may move this to the middle or possibly not. Now for right now, this is the end of this chapter of the British space program. But next time we will actually go to the moon. That's all for right now. Until next time, hasta la vista. Adios.